And good morning to those of you in Australia and New Zealand. Good afternoon and good evening to those in Australia and good afternoon and good evening to those that are in Canada, the United States. Hello, my name is Michael Haynes, Business Growth and Go-to-Market Specialist for B2B accounting, technology, and law firms. And I'd like to welcome you to another edition of my monthly Ask Michael Anything sessions. Ask Michael Anything sessions are aimed for leaders and members of small, medium, B2B accounting, tech, and law firms, where they can get some insights around how to build and grow their firms, where they can ask questions around some of the challenges and some of the things that they're dealing with regards to building and growing their B2B accounting, tech, and law firms. So for those of you who are listening on the recording, hello. Those that are new, just to let you know what the format is. So typically, these sessions run for around 30 minutes. I will kick off the session by providing three tips around a particular theme, and then opening it up to questions that you can share in the comments, as well as you often get some questions, which I do have a couple today of folks that have sent through some questions for those that weren't able to attend. So this month's theme in terms of the tips are 3 tips around client expansion. And around, when I talk about client expansion, I'm talking about how do we generate, from our clients, those upsells to our higher tiers, higher levels of our service offerings. How do we get them to purchase other service offerings, as well as becoming advocates and providing referrals for us? Because all of these around upsells, cross sells, those referrals are all key sources of revenue and ultimately business growth. So 3 tips. Now, before I get into the 3 tips, there is an underlying premise that we must be mindful of when as providers of those advisory services, as accounting firms, technology, and law firms, that our clients are very much looking for our firms to be those strategic business partners with those or with them. So they're looking for firms that they can work with to analyze and solve problems and challenges, both those that they have currently and those that our clients have as they're moving forward, and as their firms, their organizations are growing and evolving. They're looking for firms that they can work with to solve, analyze, solve problems, address key priorities, those that they can co-create and collaborate with. So that is an underlying key premise that our clients are looking for, that we have to be very much mindful of. Therefore, as a result, in terms of 3 key tips with regards to how do we go about driving client expansion within our firms. Tip number 1 is that client expansion is a cross-functional endeavor. Client expansion is a cross-functional endeavor. It is not something to be left to the marketing and sales teams or your business development department, whatever you call them. This is a cross-functional. In order to successfully get our clients to upsell, cross-sell, to become advocates, to refer, this is going to require the inputs, the involvement right across the organization. So yes, the likes of marketing and sales, your business development teams, but it's also going to involve the likes of your products and solutions teams, operations, service and support, client delivery. All of these functions need to be involved in proactively planning and executing what are going to be the initiatives undertaking to drive that client expansion. And so this is something that really should be led from top down within your organizations, often by the CEOs, or in many cases, a number of firms now having a head of revenue ops who are driving all of that revenue generating activities, not just around acquisition, but retention and expansion. So it really needs to be a top-down, coordinated, but very much has to be and should be a cross-functional endeavor. So that's tip number 1, is to be making sure that client expansion initiatives are cross-functional. Folks, those that are watching live, please do say hello. Let me know where you're dialing in from. And if you have any questions that are coming up that you have already, or as I'm going through some of these tips, please do share those in the comments as well. Okay, so that was tip number 1. Tip number 2 is that you want to be considering having account-based strategies. So you want to consider having account-based strategies for your key clients. So these are coordinated efforts, coordinated plans on how you're going to, for some of those key clients and even perhaps some of your key prospects, how are you going to be really working with, engaging with those clients, nurturing them, supporting them as they are engaging in their own business growth endeavors. So you want to have this a coordinated plan of what you're going to do around those key clients. So if we think in terms of the key pillars of our go-to-market strategy, so the likes of what are you going to be providing in terms of content? Again, being very much focused on providing advice, insights, and recommendations. So what are you going to provide? Is it articles, videos, white papers? So what kind of content are you going to be providing to support your key clients with their key priorities, challenges, and objectives? What kinds of, think about micro events and experiences that you may be providing to your clients. So this could be the likes of, are you going to be doing workshops? Are you going to be doing trainings? You might be doing things such as having, let's say, roundtables. You might have industry briefings on industry and market developments, which you will do with those clients and perhaps give them the opportunity to meet with and engage with other industry members within their industries, within their markets. So thinking about content, thinking about the likes of micro events, strategic collaborations, or how you might collaborate with other service providers. So having a very coordinated plan of how you're going to really support, nurture your key clients, having that plan, which again will often be executed and require cross-functional elements, is something you very much want to be thinking about and incorporating as part of your client expansion endeavors. So again, tip number one is that your client expansion endeavors needs to be cross-functional, led from the top. Tip number two is that you want to consider having an account-based strategy for those key clients that you want to be nurturing and working with, and thinking across those key pillars of your go-to-market strategies, content, micro events, collaborations, how you're going to do so. And the third tip is that you need to be making sure that you have some kind of what I call a listening program. What is going to be your engagement mechanism, your feedback mechanism to really, understand what are the key priorities, objectives, and goals of those key clients and perhaps some key strategic prospects as well. So how are you going to be able to really understand what it is they're doing, where they're looking to go? A key, very effective way to do so is to conduct what I call strategic customer workshops, strategic client workshops. Now, these workshops are where you bring representatives from your firm, your accounting tech law firm, and you'll bring representatives. So from your, client delivery, could be from your products and services, solutions teams, from marketing and sales, account management, and you will similarly have a, extended workshop meeting with those same peers and counterparts from within those client firms. So from your clients, you're going to want to have them bring representatives from their products and solution teams, business development, client delivery, service and support. And it's about having a structured dialogue. These can be anywhere often from 2 hours, perhaps half a day, that you're meeting periodically and you're having that discussion where you can be understanding what are their key priorities, objectives, and challenges, as well as often working with them to help them identify what are their key priorities and challenges. You can be sharing roadmaps in terms of what you're looking to do and identify and providing opportunities to provide insights, advice. This is opportunities that you may want to be collaborating and brainstorming. So those strategic customer workshops, strategic client workshops are a very great way that you can be doing periodically, maybe a couple times a year, as one mechanism to really understand the needs, priorities, and challenges of some of those key clients. For further tips about strategic customer workshops, if you visit my website, listeninnovategrow.com/grow, there's an article that goes into quite a bit of detail about running these strategic customer workshops, which all of you, irrespective if you're running accounting firms, technology firms, law firms, can conduct these interactive feedback engagement sessions with your clients and perhaps some of your key prospects. A great way, again, to really understand what are their key requirements, priorities, opportunities to provide them with advice, insights, and really look at opportunities for collaborating. So it can serve multiple purposes. So those are kind of the 3 tips that I wanted to share. So 3 tips around client expansion to get you thinking are: 1, to be making sure this is done cross-functionally and really being led from the top. Secondly, you want to be thinking about having account-based strategies. So having plan coordinated efforts of how you're going to be working with and engaging, supporting those key clients that you have. Again, thinking about how you might be leveraging some of those core pillars of around your content, your micro events and experiences, and as well as potentially collaborations. And then thirdly, you want to be having a listening mechanism to really be able to understand what are the key priorities, objectives, and goals of your key clients, and have an opportunity to provide some insights and advice with respect to those. And it's a great way to instill that trust and confidence and demonstrating your ability of how your firm is going to be able to really nurture and support and help your clients on their own strategic endeavors moving forward. So those are some 3 key tips. Again, folks, if you have any questions with regard to those, please put them in the comments and share. Now, I did have a few questions that were sent through to me by some folks that were not able to attend this live session, and so I'm going to go through a few of those now. First question was asked is, how does firms go about satisfying some of the required skills and knowledge as they're looking to expand their offerings and providing more different kinds of offerings if you don't have those skills internally within your firms currently? Well, there are a few options, so that's a great question. One might be potentially training to try and fill in those gaps of those key capabilities that you're going to require as you're looking to expand those offerings. Secondly, you may want to be looking at potentially, depending on the nature of some of those expanded offerings, bring in fractionals and or part-time specialists. So for example, one of my 2 of my clients that I'm working with, one in the accounting, one in the technology sectors, they're going to be providing strategy workshops. It's very much coming up to planning time now, and so they're going to be conducting strategy planning sessions. And so one of the ways which they're doing so, they're bringing in specialists to conduct those specifically. So bring in fractionals and or part-timers to help you with some of those are quite useful. That can be done. So those are 2 things to consider. Another option you may want to be considering as part of how you go about satisfying the skills and knowledge is about collaborating with other strategic providers, again, along the lines of specialists who may be able to provide and support you, whether it's, for example, solution development, developing new product bundle offerings, if it is around potentially doing workshops. So 3 options are trainings, considering fractionals, as well as looking at collaborating with other service providers around putting together offerings, conducting workshops, trainings, depending on the nature of the offerings. Are there any systems that might help manage the process? Great question, Lincoln. I'm not sure what you mean in terms of managing the process. Are you talking about managing, if you're talking about managing the expansion of the offerings, there is a process in which you would be going through in terms of how you would strategize and plan out how you go about expanding your offerings. So there is definitely a process in terms of how you go about mapping out what you're going to be doing. This may tie in, Lincoln, to another question that was sent in to me was, how do we identify what some of those client expansion opportunities should be and how we should prioritize? In terms of determining where you're going to be doing your focus as to what you're going to be potentially offering, Again, that listening, getting that feedback, and having that feedback both from your clients. So doing the likes of the strategic customer workshops, doing depth interviews with some of your key clients and some of your key prospects to understand what are some of their key requirements. Where are they needing some additional support from your firm as being a strategic advisor and partner? That is a great way to identify. So is it about providing some new kinds of solutions around service and support, providing bundled offerings which may encompass consulting services, industry briefings, and added service enhancements, for example. So doing your listening through the likes of depth interviews, workshops, where you're getting that client feedback to understanding what are their initial needs, requirements, and goals will help you to prioritize. Understanding your industry market trends to understand at a broader level as to where the requirements are. That will help you to help prioritize what are going to be some of the requirements in terms of what are some of the areas and elements you may want to be focusing on. Now, another question that was emailed to me 2 days ago was, what are some of the actual options with respect to when we talk about client expansion across the likes of professional service firms? What are some of the different options we should be thinking about? So there is a big trend around our clients that are very much looking for those advanced, more advisory services to support their growth endeavors. And so some of the options that you may want to be thinking about in terms of how we can be expanding our offerings can be the likes of setting up, conducting masterminds, roundtables, conducting industry briefings to provide that strategic advice and guidance that many of your clients for your firms are looking for. There could be, provision of consulting services in particular areas. Implementation services can be strategic planning is also another one as well. Providing industry and market research are some other options. Providing assessments and diagnostics. So these are just some of the kinds of things that you can be considering as kind of the expansion of advisory offerings that you can be providing potentially to your clients. Again, to determine the types, which ones and what combinations are going to be best for your firms in particular, you really want to be focusing on, getting that feedback from your clients, really tapping into your industries, to doing some of that listening at that market level, industry market level, as well as speaking with some of your key clients and prospects to understand what are some of the requirements in terms of the kinds of things that they're focusing on, their key priorities and goals, where they feel they're needing added support, added insights will drive the kinds of things you may want to be providing. But thinking about some of that executive level engagement and helping them to be meeting not just current needs, but potentially future needs is something you want to be keeping in mind. But again, just to really go through that list quite quickly, the likes of, masterminds, communities, workshops, consulting, reporting, implementation support, industry market research, assessments, diagnostics, conducting industry type events where opportunities for your clients to be able to interact and engage with other peers and other experts are other things you want to be thinking about. Okay, another question, and again, folks, any questions that you have, please continue to feed them through. Another question that was brought to me was, how do we go about educating our clients about these new offerings we're going to be providing that our clients and the market in general may not be aware as we're looking to expand some of these offerings? So how do we go about educating clients? How do we go about educating the market about potential expanded offerings? Great question. There are a number of things that you can be doing to do so. One obviously will be the likes of your client communication. So communicating that through your client communication, so through the likes of newsletters, videos, can be ways you can be doing so. conducting events for your clients and your prospects. So doing things such as conducting executive briefings, the likes of roundtables, where you're sharing advice and providing insights and guidance, can also be another opportunity to be educating clients about the insights, the value that you're able to provide to them, and you're going to be able to bring to their firms. You may want to be thinking about providing some sort of trial or tasters to these advisory offerings. So these could be to your more expanded offering. So this could be trials of some sort if it's a new solution in a technology context for an opportunity for them to get a trial of that. It could be through conducting experiential events, so the likes of doing workshops, training sessions, roundtables, where they can get to experience actually engaging with getting a taste of those new solutions, those new offerings, and your advice, insights, and perspectives around them. So that education can be through a combination of experiential as well as through your actual client market communications that you're putting out there through your newsletters. You might do so through your industry and professional associations, and providing opportunities for your clients and prospects to trial them. And finally, last question that was brought into me as well was, how do we go about creating personalized personalized service offerings within our firm? Doesn't that require a lot of work, a lot of effort? How can we do so in a very effective manner? Now, there is a number of ways in which firms can be creating personalized offerings. Again, to determine where you want to be focusing on, we want to be starting off again with our listening to really get that understanding of what are the kinds of things you want to be focusing on. But creating bundled solutions, and so comprehensive offerings that are going to be meeting a vast requirements, a multitude of requirements of our clients' needs is a great way to provide tailored offerings that are going to add added value to the firm in terms of revenues and potential profitability, but also added value to your client. So your bundled offerings is where you will have your core solutions. So using the likes of a technology firm, they may have a key core product or solution, but then you will have added value adds that your client will be seeking to have. So that could be around consulting services, it could be around reporting, it could be around advanced enhanced service levels, as an example. With your bundled offerings, with these managed offerings, there's a number of ways that you can do so. You can have them very tailored and customized, so for each client, or you can, by having an understanding of your market requirements, you can come up with a core solution and then have various options that your clients can opt into. So there are various different options about how you can create personalized options. So it can be, it doesn't necessarily have to be on a client by client basis. You can have offerings tailored to cater to a set of specific segment or groupings of customers. And there are various strategies around how you can create them. So it is on a level kind of mass customization. And this is something around developing service solutions. Customized solutions is something I will be talking about in upcoming videos and upcoming live streams in the next couple of months. All right, so those were some of the key questions that were sent in through to me, and thank you for those that sent those in around, how to create offerings, filling knowledge and skill requirements, how do we go about identifying what offerings should be, educating, and what are some of the different options. Okay, so just to let you know, thank you. So for those of you, if you have any further questions that I did not answer today, please send those through. You can send those in through to listeninnovategrow.com. For further insights around how to develop your go-to-market strategies, and understanding client requirements to develop your go-to-market strategies, which are going to address client acquisition, retention, and expansion. Be sure to sign up if you haven't already for my playbook, listeninnovategrow.com/SME-playbook. I will definitely be putting those in the show notes where you can get a playbook, which is a short PDF, which will outline all the key steps to building and growing that comprehensive go-to-market plan to drive all the revenue streams around acquisition, retention, and growth within the firm. Please, if you haven't already, connect with me on LinkedIn. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Ask Michael Anything. And stay tuned and be sure to look out for the next episode of Breaking Through in B2B, my live stream show, where I'm providing further insights, ideas, and inspirations to help us build and grow our firms. The next episode of that will be next Thursday, which I believe is the 5th of September, where we'll be having Sherry Radler, CEO of the RA Accounting Group, who will be talking about her experiences as to how she's been able to build and grow her accounting firm. Thank you, everyone. And those of you listening on the recording, thank you for listening. And until next time, take care. Bye for now.